Welcome to Waywut, your weekly verbal double take. This is a rabbit hole podcast where a couple of old guys do moderate to shallow dives into various topics, ranging from true crime, paranormal, sports, pop culture, or anything else that we find interesting. We drop episodes every Tuesday, and then on Fridays if we feel like it. You can follow us on Facebook, X, TikTok, and Instagram. We appreciate you joining us. And now that we got all this self-promotion stuff out of the way, here we go. Hello, welcome once again to another episode of Waywut. My name is Darrell. I'm taking the lead on this episode today. And here I am with the guy who used his 15 minutes of fame to get to the front of the line at Dick Wang's Banana Hammock Emporium. Jason,
Hey.
Sorry. I didn't say your name. I was just like, hey, he's just that guy that went to Dick Wang's.
Hey, you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But there ain't nothing quite like hammock underwear, though.
Well, no, the boxer briefs with the pouch in the front is not the same thing as a banana hammock.
And it kind of probably gives you the same kind of support.
No, it's not hammock-like. I mean, but you have to have as little material as possible to do the banana hammock.
Yeah, I don't think I could fill one of those out. I have no problem filling out the sack in my underwear.
It's enough talk about your junk.
Oh my God!
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
This is kind of appropriate. Today I've got an awkward rant. I didn't see that stuff coming, but here we are. We enjoy doing this podcast, and we will continue doing it as long as we keep having fun. As long as it's fun, we're going to keep doing this.
Damn right.
With that being said, whenever we do anything, whenever we do something, we want to be good at it. And the way you measure that with a podcast is the number of listeners and viewers you have.
Yep.
That's why we're very candid about our dozens and dozens of listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I am grateful and happy to interact with our listeners and viewers that comment on our episodes or our silly little shorts that we put out there. Heck, we've had one listener that pretty much commented on every episode that we did for like 50 episodes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got to the point where I was like looking forward to it every week. It's looking like we may have run her off at some point with some tacky episodes because I hadn't seen her comment in a while. But this could be me, acting like somebody, with their phone going, why aren't they texting me back? What are they doing? It's been 5 whole minutes. But that's beside the point. Anytime someone comments, I love responding back. I should have put my dog up. Anyway. But it's fun having those brief interactions. However, I have now met 2 different listeners in person that listened to this podcast before they ever met me.
That's kind of crazy considering there is only dozens and dozens.
Yeah. Well, one of them was my wife's cousin. I'd never met him before. And then whenever I was in West Virginia, I met him and he'd listened to the show before we ever met. And I'm like, okay. I mean, he listened because he knew because of her Facebook or whatever. And the more recent one was your son's girlfriend. Yeah. Now, both of them were very kind. I just wish I wasn't so damned awkward. Academically. So if I was looking to, be able to write a paper about it, I know that I should just thank them for listening and then continue the conversation like normal. But I've replayed both of these interactions in my head over and over, like a normal crazy person does. And that is exactly what I don't do. Both of these times that I met someone after they listened to us, I feel like they found some sort of secret I was hiding. Like, it's like I vomited in a jewelry box or a cabinet at somebody else's house. Then they found it and cleaned it up for me. So instead of being grateful, my response seems more surprised, embarrassed, and apologetic. Because I'm like, uh, 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 uh yeah, sorry.
Well, we're still a little rough around the edges in some of our earlier episodes, so maybe you're a little embarrassed about that, but as with anything, we get better. We have
Yeah,
gotten better.
definitely compared to where we were. But I mean, I'll still watch and listen to so many other people, and I'm like, how? Why don't I hear them breathing? I hear me breathing all the time. Anytime I listen, I sound like the whole time, and they don't do that. They don't stammer. I stammer all the time, but
They probably have a bunch of edits, a lot more edits than what we do.
I don't know. Well, now, as you can tell, some of this is because I'm very critical of myself and our show. And of course, Jason, because he's horrible.
Hey,
But
what did I do? I'm just sitting here.
we'll talk about it later. But even that, it's because of my own insecurities and self esteem issues. I can't take a damn compliment. If someone says nice haircut, I say thank you. But when someone lays it on thick, like, I love your show, you're doing an amazing job, or you're so hot, then I go I go straight into self-deprecation mode. That last one is my wife. She likes to do that to me. I don't know why. She'll just say, "You're hot," and then I can only respond by one saying, "No, you're hot," or two, I make a really stupid, ugly face to turn her compliment into a joke. It's the only way I know how to deal with it. I can't be like,
I,
"Yeah, you're right." I mean, I'm just not good at it.
I get it. I understand. You also do a little nervous laugh sometimes, a little giddy laugh when you're a little nervous.
What?
Yeah.
What? Now I'm going to
Yeah.
be paranoid about that. Thanks, Jason. This rant is not making me feel any better. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to make sure that I bring this up in therapy because I'm broken. And just know that if you ever meet me in person and I seem weird when you compliment the show, just know that I'm super grateful that you listen or watch. I'm just too broken to vocalize it.
He
Now
means
this,
thank you.
yeah. Now all this, made me wonder if we ever hit the popularity that, we're obviously chasing.
Yeah, we're destined for it. It's just a matter of time.
I don't know if we're good destined for it, but I know we're pursuing it. Will we be able to handle it?
Yeah.
So in the light of that, let's take a look at some people who got their 15 minutes of fame only for it to wreck their lives.
All right.
So we'll start with Win Ti Tien Tan. Win Ti Tien Tan. I think I said that right.
Nailed it.
Was born in Singapore in 1981 before she moved to Houston when she was a year old. She was a pain in the ass kid that broke laws and dabbled in drugs and ended up with the nickname Tila Tequila
Huh.
because of her allergy to alcohol. At least that's according to one source. It was debated in another, so I don't know. Either way, we all know who Tila Tequila is, unfortunately. After doing some modeling work and getting scouted by Playboy, she moved out to California where she started a couple bands and took a shot at reality TV. She was getting some exposure, more modeling jobs, whenever she joined MySpace in 2003 and brought along
MySpace.
like 50,000 followers from like the forums and stuff that she used to go on. And there she blew up. She got all this attention, racked up about 1.5 million followers, and was like, okay, time to start selling merchandise. And she did.
Uh-huh.
In 2005, she began her own clothing line. In 2006, she frequently hosted the TV show Pants Off Dance Off, where contestants would strip to music videos.
All right. Why is that still
Uh,
not on?
yeah. 2007 comes around, her career takes another big leap, and she signs with Will I Am's music group. She gets a cameo in I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry. And then she gets her own TV show on MTV called A Shot at Love, with Tila Tequila. If you don't know the premise of that show, there are 16 lesbians and 16 straight guys competing to win her over, kind of like The Bachelorette, except sluttier.
I gotta look up a picture. I can't. The name is familiar. I
Oh, she was
cannot think
hot,
of
no
the
question
picture.
about it. I mean, just yeah. The
Tila.
year. Are you gonna be? Wait, are you just typing her name, or are you typing Tila Tequila naked?
Tila
Anyway,
Tequila. Just okay. Okay, I remember her now. Okay.
yeah. So the years following her getting this show, she put out some more music. A sex tape of her with two chicks got leaked out, but all the while during, following the show, she was becoming less and less relevant. She started losing some of that fame that she built up, been pursuing. In 2013, she found a way to get everyone's attention again by posting an article on her website titled "Why I Sympathize with Hitler, Part 1."
Part one.
I couldn't find if she actually ever followed up with any other parts. I checked for part 2, I couldn't find it, but I think one was enough. One was exactly how many of those that she needed.
Man, the title.
She followed her she followed her article up with a picture of her wearing a Nazi armband, and even more tasteless, she took a picture of herself with a gun in front of a picture of Auschwitz.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So being that her level of fame at the time, well, and even just at her best, was C-list. These dumb comments got her demoted all the way down to Z-list. What did you knock over?
Oh, my tablet fell over.
How could you not? I'm trying to
Yeah.
talk here.
Oh, I'm Z list.
Z-list. After a couple years of everyone ignoring her because she at that point she was just dead to everybody.
Mm.
She does what any former celebrity does and try to get some fame back. So she went on Celebrity Big Brother, to which she was promptly voted out first because, oddly enough, people were still kind of pissed about the Hitler thing.
What was she even trying to do? Like, what was the
Well,
hoping she would gain? What kind of supporters?
I mean, one, I think it might have been just to get her name out there too. I think she kind of does hate Jewish people. I'll get to it.
Oh, okay.
So she did what anyone naturally does after getting voted off Big Brother because she was extremely unpopular. She apologized, blamed depression and drugs, and said she didn't mean it. I'm not sure if the apology was real because the very next year she tweeted that Ben Shapiro, the famous Jewish political commentator,
Mm-hmm.
should be gassed and sent back to Israel. She also said Asia needed an Asian version of Hitler.
Oh my
So never
gosh.
mind. I am damn positive she didn't mean her apology.
No.
So
It's a lot of
you're
hate in that little woman.
yeah, I was going to say if you're wondering why she would say that, it was because she meant it.
And they
I
say
don't.
tequila makes you angry.
Well. So as her fame, is completely gone now, she still gets everybody's attention every now and then by randomly shouting something stupid like flat earth theory or another anti-Semitic comment. Fortunately, it appears that she has gone quiet for the past 6 or 7 years. And for her sake, as well as ours, I hope she continues that. Fame didn't bring her anything good.
Oh,
So I think at this point she's just kind of better off like taking care of her kids, doing whatever she's doing for work, and just keep quiet.
yeah. She's giving all the flat earthers a bad name.
They give themselves a bad name, Jason.
That's
Anti,
terrible. I just don't understand what she was going for. Like, I just don't get it. I
I think
mean, what are
I
you
think
hoping to gain?
there are some people that I would say that if she did it at the height of her popularity, I would have said blamed it on her feeling untouchable. I think at
Mm-hmm.
that point it was just the whole any publicity is good publicity sort of thing.
Hoping
So-
she gets some kind of
or she was
following.
or she was on drugs and depressed. Who knows?
But who took the picture? I mean, who said yes? That is a great idea. Let's put
Probably
this on
whoever she
minute.
was fucking at the time. You look at her. If you're fucking the girl that hot, she's like, here, take a picture of me holding a gun in front of like a middle school. Okay. Can we go fuck now? I mean, you know, especially if you're in your 20s, you're stupid.
Okay.
All right. Anti-Semites aren't the only ones that can crash and burn. Jewish people can do it too.
Oh, Darrell.
Ofer Shlomi was born in Israel in 1964. Him and his mother moved to New York when he was a kid. At the age of 17, he decided to move to LA to become an actor. I give credit to anyone who does this and succeeds, but I think you're better off buying scratch-off tickets. I never got why moving to the most expensive city in the most expensive state to take minimum wage jobs in hopes of hitting it big seems so appealing to people.
That's what you're supposed to do. Pay your dues.
Yeah, well, this is why my screenplays have zero chance of becoming movies, because I am so risk averse. I'll just sit here and keep them as Word documents in my computer. Now back to our young Israeli hopeful. He became a Scientologist in 1982 and changed his name to Vince Offer in 1986. Throughout the 80s and some of the 90s, he was writing and acting on comedies on public access television. You know, kind of like Wayne's World was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But that wasn't how he paid the bills. He bought the rights to a kitchen item that he called the Chop Chop, and he would sell it using demonstrations at malls. He says that he was making more than $1 million a year selling those.
Damn.
He brought in a number of people from the Church of Scientology to work with him. 2 of those people must have been higher in the church than he was, because he claims they began ripping him off and pocketing the money from the sales they made. The church sided with those 2 guys during their little culty court thing that they did, and somehow they took the entire business from him.
Huh.
Yeah. Needing a new way to make money and probably get back into the church's good graces, since they don't really like poor people, Vince took many of those sketches that he wrote, and he wrote and directed the Underground comedy movie. The comedy anthology's production began in 1996 and featured actors like Michael Clark Duncan, non-actors that were famous like Joey Buttafuoco. Remember the guy whose wife got shot by the Long Island Lolita?
Mm-hmm.
Slash from Guns N' Roses, Gina Lee Nolan, and some other people that were kind of popular back then. He released the movie in 1999 and was bankrupt by 2002. Some of it was because the movie isn't good. And some of it was because he sued the creators of There's Something About Mary, claiming that 14 scenes from There's Something About Mary were stolen from him.
Whatever. 14.
The judge called bullshit and made him pay $66,000 in attorney fees.
Get out of my court.
He also went on to sue Anna Nicole Smith, saying she agreed to be in the movie but backed out. I didn't see any result from that proceeding, but either way, he was sinking too much money into lawyers and not making enough money on his movies or his lawsuits. In order to make money on the movie without having to cut in a distribution company, cut them in on the profits, he began selling the movie through infomercials that aired on Comedy Central from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. And it worked. He ended up selling 100,000 copies of the movie. Not completely broke anymore, and figuring out the Church of Scientology was screwing him over, he used that newly acquired money to sue the Church of Scientology for stealing his Chop Chop business. That case, too, was dismissed. In 2006, he started over, and he bought the rights to a product that he saw in flea markets. And this leads us to where we all know this guy. He purchased the ShamWow and began pitching it the same way he did the Chop Chop and the Underground comedy movie. In 2007, he filmed his first infomercial for the ShamWow, and he made his way into pop culture fame.
Yep.
People seem to like his abrasive manner as well as his smooth talking condescension, because he kind of came off as a dick, real cocky too.
Mm-hmm.
He completely capitalized on this, bought another product to sell called the Slap Chop.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a lot of fun with the infomercial on this one, saying things like, "You're going to love my nuts." And "Stop having boring tuna."
I remember those commercials.
Yeah. Well, he was on top of the world. Then in 2009, he was arrested along with a 26-year-old prostitute in Miami Beach, Florida. According to the police report, the woman bit onto Vince's tongue and refused to let go. Vince, in an effort to free himself, punched her in the face hard enough to leave lacerations and fractures.
ShamWow.
Yeah. The police show up and they're like, "This is Florida. This ain't shit." So they didn't pursue charges on either one of them. They're like, "There's not even an alligator or meth involved. Fuck you both." Later, Vince claimed that the arrest saved his life. He said it wasn't the fame that messed with him, it was the money. The more money he got, the more women he wanted around him. He didn't really elaborate after that, but I'm guessing the incident saved him because he was more careful not to bang cannibals. Somebody's just going to bite on and go, Even with the charges dropped, it did considerable damage to his career.
Mm-hmm.
So after that arrest, he had a brief appearance in the worst Adam Sandler movie, Jack and Jill. How low could you sink? Tell
I didn't
me,
even
Al
seen that
Pacino.
movie.
You just talked over my joke.
Oh,
Now I don't want to do
sorry.
it.
Al Pacino. It was Al Pacino.
No, yeah. I was going to say, how low can you sink? Tell me, how Al Pacino and Johnny Depp, how low could you sink?
Wait, Johnny Depp was in it too?
He had a small part. Yeah. Only reason I know is because of TikTok. Because they always like doing this one scene where Al Pacino shows up to a Lakers game wearing a beard or something.
I haven't even seen that movie.
I haven't either. I had no desire to.
Mm-mm.
I like good Adam Sandler movies, not that.
Mm-mm.
In 2012, he dove back into selling products on TV. This time with the lint roller called the Sticky.
Oh my god, that's the greatest one.
The Sticky. He even posed for a fake mugshot for the infomercial to make fun of his previous arrest. He also got involved in another lawsuit, but this time he was the one being sued. Jennifer Kaczynski, who worked for him as a personal assistant, was suing him. Her lawsuit was kind of weird, saying he offered to send her parents on a paid vacation if she donated her eggs to him. I mean, that's weird and not cool, but I'm not sure if that's damaging.
Yeah, like give them to him in a carton or
No,
how's that work?
mean, egg donation, where they suck them out of a woman, whatever. All right. She also said that he had her watch him at functions to make sure he didn't drink too much and get in trouble. That seems like a perfectly normal job function for a personal assistant. If I had a personal assistant working for me, I'd be like, "Look, you make sure I don't drink too much because I'm going to get stupid if you do."
Yeah.
If I do. So that's obviously a dumb one. Then she claimed that he touched her inappropriately, wanted to sleep in a bed with her, and wanted to watch her and her boyfriend have sex.
That might cross a line there.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that's true, that is definitely a no-no. Unfortunately, I don't know how this lawsuit turned out, and nothing that I found ever said if it was litigated all the way or if it was settled or dismissed. I don't know.
It just went away.
Yeah, I guess. What I do know is that in 2013, he took another shot at the movies, recycling some of the sketches from the Underground comedy movie, as well as writing some new ones. He made a new comedy anthology called The Inappropriate Movie, which I remember seeing this at like, out on shelves and stuff, but it looked awful. So I never watched it. Somehow he managed to get people like Adrian Brody, Lindsay Lohan, Michelle Rodriguez, and Rob Schneider to appear in this movie.
Damn.
Yeah. It completely tanked. It was shown in 275 theaters and averaged $625 per theater on its opening weekend.
Ooh.
After it was all said and done, the total box office for its theatrical run was $172,000.
Yikes.
Yeah, that kind of did it for him in Hollywood. That kind of did it.
So in these movies, is he the director and the producer or the starring role?
He's the writer and director.
Okay.
And I imagine he gets some investors in and stuff like that. But yeah.
But he's not really in the movie as the
He's
main
actually no, they're anthology movies, so they're like sketches. And
Okay.
so he appears in a couple of the sketches.
Okay.
Now he still sells products that he owns, and he's added a couple more since then. He's gotten married, he got divorced, and he just does his thing selling stuff. I kind of agree with him that fame isn't really his problem. Money is, which he's still getting money. So if he's smart, he's spending most of his time, his free time with his money, like meditating in a Buddhist temple or something. Just anything to keep him out of trouble. Because if he ever comes into a shitload of money again, we're probably going to hear about him again.
Seems to be the cycle he's on.
Yeah. Well, until then, he's living out of the spotlight.
Have you ever seen the Djibouti dubs?
Yeah.
Where they make fun of the Sticky and the Sticky Buddy.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's super freaking funny.
They're pretty good. I like their infomercial ones. What I've actually gotten where I like more is that whenever they do commentary over movies.
Oh.
Like kind of like Mystery Science Theater. Those are really fun.
I remember the first time I saw those, and I laughed so damn hard.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up with a very well-known instance of fame wrecking someone's life. We're going to talk about Jake Lloyd. Jake was born in Colorado in 1989. He began acting around the age of 7 and got a role on ER for a few episodes. So it's like, boom. Yeah, look at him firing off already. This led to more gigs on TV shows and a couple of TV movies, and getting to star alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger in Jingle All the Way, which that's got to be pretty cool. I mean, yeah, it would have been really cool. He then hit the jackpot when he was casted as Darth Vader. Unfortunately for him, it was Kid Darth Vader, and it was in a mediocre Star Wars movie. It used to be the worst Star Wars movie, but then Disney decided to fix that and made even worse Star Wars movies.
Yeah, they're not on a very good roll there.
Yeah. Now, if you can't already tell, I, along with many other Star Wars fans, were not fans of the direction that George Lucas took with his prequel trilogy. No one wanted to see Vader as a kid. And no one was going to believe that he was spotted as some hotshot pilot when he was fucking 6 years old. It was so stupid. But I am a reasonable person, so I blame George Lucas. Unfortunately, there are a lot of unreasonable people that put their focus, put the focus of their blame on Jar Jar Binks. Okay, I'll agree with that one. George Lucas and Jake Lloyd. I mean, everybody was, oh, this kid's fucking terrible, shit like that. Lots of people were.
Who wouldn't turn it down? I mean, he took the role. Who wouldn't take that role?
No. Between the internet and really mean-spirited reporters, because like actual journalists, media reporters were also writing just scathing reviews about this kid's acting and stuff. they just completely tore it apart, just all over the place. Between the internet and the reporters and everything else, Jake's acting and the role itself was viciously criticized. According to his mother, though, they worked very hard to shield him from the internet hate and all this media crap.
Yeah, let him enjoy it.
Yeah. He retired from acting in 2001. In 2012, Jake claimed that it was because he was being bullied in school and harassed by the press about Phantom Menace. In 2024, so more recently, his mother said it had nothing to do with bullying, but it was actually because of family drama, that was the reason that he retired from acting. So we're kind of getting two stories here. Now, initially, I was including him in this episode because I was of the thoughts, everything I always heard before, that it was because of the fan reaction to Phantom Menace and the bullying, stuff like that led him down this path that I'm about to describe. But I will take his mother's word for it that it was not a contributing factor. But I am keeping him on this list because I can't imagine fame, the attention that he got because of his previous fame did not help him with the troubles that he ended up having.
No, it exacerbated the problem.
Yeah. Jake's mother said his mental health began deteriorating when he was in high school. He was telling her and others that he lived in multiple realities. She took him to the doctor and he was diagnosed as bipolar. However, he refused to take any of the medication. He went on to finish high school and attended Columbia College Chicago, where he majored in psychology. But he only made it one semester because he began having visual and auditory hallucinations. Jake believed that he was being followed by people with black eyes. His mother said he would have conversations with the TV thinking he was actually talking to Jon Stewart as he was watching The Daily Show.
Wow.
He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia at 19 years old. Now that is very unique because schizophrenia usually doesn't manifest in people until their 20s or 30s, like their late 20s and sometimes 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing that's why they missed that diagnosis early on and called him bipolar, because it's not very often you get schizophrenic teenagers. Unfortunately, he continued to refuse to take the medication, which eventually led to a situation where the police were called to his mother's house in 2015. According to the police report, Jake arrived at her house and began yelling at her and then physically assaulted her. She declined to press charges, citing that it was only his lack of medication that was causing his bad behavior. Later that year, he was arrested in South Carolina for reckless driving without a license, and running a red light. He ran a red light in front of a cop. The cop went to pull him over. Jake said, "Nope, this is pod racing," and went on a high-speed chase that went through multiple counties. They eventually caught him, and at his bail hearing, they set his bail at $10,700. His mother spoke at the bail hearing, stating that he refused to speak with her. So he was just kind of shutting down. She also stated that the police were refusing to give him his psychiatric medicine. She started trying, so he stayed in jail. She started trying to get him transferred into a mental hospital. It took her 10 months because everywhere that was around, they had no rooms for him.
Yeah, so he went 10 months without medication?
10 months of not getting any treatment. He was just in jail. I mean, that's never going to be good for your psyche. It was during this time that she eventually went public with his diagnosis of schizophrenia and finally got him transferred to a hospital, because all of a sudden they're like, oh gosh, publicity. Yes, we will get this poor kid to a hospital. He continued to struggle with his mental health over the next few years. In those few years following that initial incident, his sister died in her sleep. which was like completely unexpected. She was young, but it's natural causes, and she just went, and that kind of messed him up. His
Natural
mother,
causes.
yeah, his mother and him moved to California so that they could be closer to their family. Then in 2023, Jake had a psychotic break while riding in a car with his mother. While in the middle of a freeway, he began screaming at his mother to turn the car off, and he finally succeeded in shutting her car off in the middle lane of the freeway. There
Lord.
they sat, screaming at each other. When the cops arrived to find out what was going on, Jake could only respond incoherently. They took him in custody, and he was hospitalized for the next 18 months.
Well,
Now, there's a reason I saved this story for last. In January 2025, so just a few months ago, Jake was interviewed for the first time in a long time, along with his mother. He's currently living in a rehab center where he's receiving treatment, but he also has in and out privileges. So he's able to come and go as he wishes, and he's getting to live like mostly a normal life.
okay.
He finally accepted the schizophrenic diagnosis and has been actively pursuing and participating in his treatment and therapy. So he's taken a lot of big steps forward. He says since that last kind of meltdown, his interactions with Star Wars fans have been very, very positive and very therapeutic. He made sure to say in this interview that he is very grateful for all their support and that it's actually made a difference for him.
The same people who drove him to that?
Well, not the same people. I mean,
Well, the
you can't
same
just sit there and
crowd.
say, "Well, oh, don't." That's groupthink. Because I mean, think about the people that say nasty shit about us on the internet. They're still listeners and viewers. You're gonna
Yeah.
say, our listeners and viewers are assholes." No.
No, I mean
So
you're.
yes, there are still supportive and good Star Wars fans, and actually, that's most of them.
Mm,
Remember, it's your negative people that are the loudest.
they like the top.
Now he's not out there like going to conventions or anything. I mean, he's not in any condition for that. These are just like random interactions because he'll like go to a comic book store or whatever, and he'll go online and he'll interact in forums and stuff like that, and it's just all been positive and made him feel good. His mom expressed her relief and how excited she is that Jake is putting in the work to learn to live with his mental health issues. And that is where I'm going to leave his story because it is such a positive outcome. I mean, everyone else just kind of faded in obscurity and they're just kind of living their life, whatever. But this is like somebody that went down like a bad path and is
Well,
able to get somewhere better.
well, yeah, but he took a role. That was his only role he's ever had. Did you say that?
No, no. Remember, I sat there and listed off a bunch of stuff he did before that.
Okay,
Stop smoking so much weed, you forgetful motherfucker.
no, I'm saying the role he took at such a young age was such a hyped up movie role that anybody that would have taken it would have been completely ridiculed, no
I
matter what.
well, it isn't. It's more that the movie that George Lucas made was not very good. It was not
Right.
on. It was not on par with the original Star Wars. There was a high bar to meet, and he failed to meet it.
Because
And
everybody at that movie took some shit. I
no,
mean,
Ewan
the
McGregor didn't. He's still beloved, and so's Liam Neeson. They didn't take
what
any crap.
Hayden Christensen or
He
whatever
was
his
in
name
the
is.
next one. He wasn't in
Yeah,
that one, but yeah, anybody that played Darth Vader without a helmet caught shit.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I wasn't up to date on where he was. I always, heard about how he went crazy, and I'd see like the mugshot and stuff like that when I'd be online. And so it wasn't until that I researched this and got to see that interview and read it on, and just I was so impressed, and I was just like, wow, this I loved seeing this happy ending to this story. And so I was like, I just hope he continues on this path. I'm going to put it out on here. It's my favorite story of this episode.
How old is he
Uh,
now? Do you know?
he was born in '89, so that would make him 36. Yeah.
Wow. All right. He looked about what 5 or 6 in the movie.
He was like 8.
8. Wow.
Oh wait, no. He was 10. I want to say he was 10 because it came out in '99. All right, well that's going to do it for this episode. Join us next time with Jason. If he hasn't been thrown into a mental hospital for running around a Mexican flea market in his wrestling briefs, body slamming random men, women, and children while screaming, "I am Billy Club! Who wants an autograph?"
Hey, I used to do that, and they didn't put me in a mental hospital, so
But
I
if you did it
did.
now, they would. And
Maybe.
if the doctors allow visitation, then he'll tell us about some stuff that'll make us say, "Wait, what?"
Yep.
All right.
Catch y'all
Bye.
later.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Waywut. This show's available on YouTube, Good Pods, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. We love to hear from you. Please comment on what you just listened to, pass along episode ideas, or just talk to us at Waywut Podcast in our Facebook group or on TikTok, Instagram, or X. Again, we really appreciate you joining us. Come back again to hear about some stuff that will make you say, "Wait, what?"